Okay, hi guys, it is Lorna here. Welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell from the title of today's video, we are going to be doing a little Q&A. I posted it on my Instagram stories, just asking for questions about anything and everything, and yeah, I got some questions, and I will leave timestamps down below if people just want to skip to certain questions, like no biggie. But yeah, I'll make sure to leave them in the description. I have my questions up on my iPad because I am filming on my phone, so that's what this is in my hand. If you ever see it, it's my iPad. Yeah, let's get into the questions. So first question is, where's the Buldak? Not in here, not in my office. As many people probably know, or my friends do, but maybe someone who doesn't really know me is watching this video. I'm a huge Buldak fan. I was literally so obsessed with Buldak at one point. I had it on my phone. It was my phone case. I had a Buldak phone case. And I went through a period of time, a couple of years, where I ate it practically every single day, and it destroyed my stomach lining. So we're not doing that again. I still eat it quite regularly, but I don't eat it to the extent that I did. I try to be a little bit more reserved than that. But yeah, in terms of where it is, I do still have like a few sachets of Buldak left, and then I have a nearly empty bottle of the regular in my fridge, and then I have a completely unopened bottle of 2 times spicy in my cupboard, which unfortunately is going to have to be tossed because no one else eats Buldak, just me. But then I think before I come over, I know that my boyfriend, we're gonna do some shopping and ask what I want, so there's like food in the house when I get there. Next question, are there any places you want to see in Australia? I would love to just see more of the country. I know this is kind of a pipe dream and it's most likely like never gonna happen, but I would love to like either like rent a car or like just take our car and road trip around Australia. Like I really want to see at least every state, like see every state at least once, and you know, get like a little souvenir or something from each one. I don't know. I know that it's quite unrealistic because Australia is such a big country, but a girl can dream. A girl can dream. For specifics of where I want to go, I'd love to go back to Canberra. I'd love to go see, would love to see Floriade again. I know that my boyfriend and I have talked about, there's a dinosaur museum and I think like a model village in Canberra as well. Would love to go see those. I really also would want to see Perth. I want to see Rottnest Island. I'd also really love to go to Brisbane and Melbourne and go to the Gold Coast. And I would really love, I think it's Movie World, I think that's what it's called, but it's the theme park that has the Scooby-Doo ride. That's a bucket list. Like I really want to go. I want to go so bad. But yeah, like I would love to just see more of just Australia in general. Even though I spent like 2 months there, I feel like I just like barely scratched to the surface of Oz. And then the next question is, what has been the hardest part of long distance for you? I'm gonna say probably something that not many people expect. And say that it's when you're far apart from your partner, whether that's both physically or through time zones, and you're going through something that's taking a physical or emotional toll on you, and they can't be there for you, or you can't be there for them if they're going through something. Like that for me is like the hardest part, because there's only so much comfort that you can provide through a screen, whether that's through texting or voice notes or video calls, or just voice calls in general. Like there's only so much that you can give, and yeah, you just want to hug them. You want to be like physically comforted, and like that for me I think is the hardest part. And also another big reason as to why after like not even like just under 2 years, like I'm like, no, I'm done with long distance, we're moving in together, hee. Like, yeah. I give huge kudos to the people who do long distance for multiple years. I also know that I think quite a number of those people who do long distance for multiple years see each other more frequently than my boyfriend and I do. They see each other like I think consistently sort of every couple of like months. But yeah, it's really tough being 11 hours apart for 6 months of the year, and then 9 hours apart for the other 6 months. Like that's tough. So that'll be for me the hardest part is, yeah. And then the next question is, what do you usually do to pass the time on long haul flights? Other than disassociate? Honestly, it depends on depending on the flight and like what time. If it's a nighttime flight, I will try my hardest to sleep as much as possible on that flight, because it does sort of make time kind of go faster a little bit. It also means that you're not relying too much on like all of your electricals, even though you can charge them, but yeah. I always bring my computer, my iPad, my DS, and obviously my phone onto the flight. So yeah, in terms of like iPad, I can read books. Computer, I've downloaded like a whole load of movies and TV shows, so I can kind of watch what I want to watch rather than like what they've provided in terms of entertainment. And then with DS, I have like so many games, so I can just like play Animal Crossing or Nintendogs for the flight. But yeah, I really just sort of try to kind of zone out as much as possible, just try to not let it faze me. And this is coming from someone who is stuck on a 15-hour flight in total darkness. Never again. Like, at least by myself, I cannot do that by myself again. Next question is, what are your hand luggage essentials? Hand luggage essentials. So obvious, apart from the obvious in terms of electricals, I would say an adapter, an international adapter if you're going on sort of flights with layovers, because the international adapters will usually also have a USB, so you can also use them to charge. I would say bring enough, like more entertainment than you think you need, I would say. Whether that's, even if you're on like a 7-hour flight, bring at least like 20 hours of entertainment, because it's just, at least for me, like things are like, my brain is so unpredictable that it's like I could download 15 movies onto my hard drive, and by the time that I get to the flight, I don't want to watch any of them. So like always bring more than you need in terms of entertainment, and you should be good. I'm genuinely trying to think of what do I keep in my hand luggage. I think that's about it, really. I was gonna say, make sure that your hand luggage is big enough to hold everything. So for my flight last year to Australia, I bought like a huge, like proper travel backpack, which was, I think that was about £20 off of Amazon. Might have been a little bit more expensive than that, but it fits everything, like everything that I need in that backpack. Like it fits laptop, iPad, DS, my handbag fits in there. My camera bag fits in there. So not quite hand luggage essentials, but like I would definitely say like be very aware of like what you're putting your hand luggage in, and make sure that it's big enough. Because I think I've more seen this on long haul flights, not sure about sort of shorter flights. But long haul flights, they do allow you to kind of bring hand luggage and then a personal item, or like a personal bag, not item, but you know what I mean, of so it's like I'd be allowed to bring like my big bulky backpack, but then have my handbag separate, for example. I don't know if all airlines do that or if it's just long haul flights, but I would say like definitely double check that. And then the next question is, what adjustments do you make sure, what adjustments do you do to make sure your flight goes smoothly for you? So I have my sunflower lanyard with me, and I always will email the airline at least. Some airlines are different. Some of them it's like a week. Some are like a little bit more relaxed, where it's like at least 24 to 36 hours out. I always try to make sure it's, you know, maximum a week notice before my flight, but I always email them and specifically ask for meet and assist, and basically just explain what you need from what I need from them, and just kind of saying I need meet and assist. I simply just need an escort through the airports on both sides, and just sort of say, you know, need an escort through Heathrow to my plane, and then from my plane to through my layover to the next, you know, really sort of explaining that to them. And yeah, that's kind of the biggest one for me as well. I've done this on previous flights. I won't be doing it on this flight, and I'll say that in a minute as to why, but on my other flights I've always used 2 headphones in order to help kind of block out a lot of the noise. So I'll have like smaller earbuds or like earphones in, and then I will have like more like bigger headphones over the top that aren't plugged into anything, just to sort of help block out the noise a little bit. I found that quite helpful. Now I have bought noise cancellation headphones that do work quite well. So I will be using the noise cancellation headphones instead of, you know, that tactic. So I would say like those 2 things do work quite well, at least from what I've found. And then the last question is, what's been the most surprising thing about losing weight? I guess from how much weight that I have lost, the most surprising thing, I guess it's like how quick it can be sometimes to notice it, because I think like in in the beginning, you don't really see a lot of change. You really don't see it. Sometimes, like, I think, yeah, when I was on Mounjaro, well, I'm still on it. I have 2 doses left, but you know, when I first started, at least, I was on it for 6 months and saw very little progress. Physically, I didn't see a lot of progress, in the sense that, and it's like, yeah, you see it on the scales, but you don't see it in person, how much you've lost. And then for me, it was just sort of one day in, I can't remember when it was, like one day I looked in the mirror and I realized like that I wasn't as big as I used to be. And it was very weird for me because it very much kind of felt like I went to bed looking one way and then I woke up looking another. Like that's sort of almost how it felt. And I think another thing that was also very surprising to me was how much I'm actually able to do in terms, like, physically. And yeah, it's a very weird sort of feeling and knowing from that perspective of like having struggled with hot weather for like nearly half my life. I've struggled with hot weather. Like so if it got hotter than like 25 degrees, I would be sweating. I would be unable to do anything, basically. Like I was struggling. But now I remember last year when we had all of like that 30 degrees for a couple of days, I was completely unfazed. I wasn't sweating. I was good. I don't even think I had my fan, I think, but it was on like the lowest setting and I didn't even really felt like I needed it. Like I just had the windows open and I was like, I'm good, I'm chilling. Like it's not actually as warm, like that warm. Everyone's overreacting. I'm like, no girl, you've just lost a lot of weight. You're fine. I think also in terms of the way that I look is I still sometimes don't think that I've, you know, shrunk as much as I have until people hug me. Once people hug me, then it's like, oh, where's the rest of me? Like my mum, I think when originally, well, not originally, but like, you know, when she hugged me sort of a year and a half ago, you know, there was still, you know, quite a bit of me. And she hugs me now and she can pretty much double back on herself. Like, it's a very weird adjustment. It's a very kind of big adjustment, and I don't know, it's very weird to kind of explain to people. But yeah, that was the last question. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to like leave them in the comments and I might do another Q&A video, maybe like after I'm in Oz. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again in another video very, very soon. Bye!